split stance, low cable row. So we have a bench that's moved out from the cable column put all the way at the bottom. Now this is a surprising movement for a lot of people because the limiting factor isn't necessarily your back, meaning the muscles that create the rowing motion. The limiting factor on this is typically how much load can the stance leg or the forward leg actually take. Because a lot of times we'll see when people do this, at least in our facility, and that foot's elevated and they're here, as they go to row, they'll just stand up and then they'll shift the weight into that back leg, and then they're able to get more load on the actual column because of that. Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to integrate the muscles that are creating the rowing motion on the right side with the muscles on the left hip or the right hip relative to whatever arm you're using. We're trying to sync those up because as that cable column or the cable pulls me back down, that's going to create rotation in my pelvis and it's going to put a load demand into my hip, and then when I row back out of it, my pelvis is going to rotate the opposite way. So it's a way for us to kind of train the foot and the hip, all the while training our upper back muscles at the same time. So when you get set up, I like to kind of walk back to my bench. I prefer to have my foot flat, and then I like to keep my arms straight, and then from here I'm trying to go into a hinge position to start. And then I like to think about letting my knees kind of close toward each other so I get that pelvic rotation, and then my trunk is going to rotate away from the camera here to the left, and then as I row I'm going to rotate and face the camera, and my chest is going to come toward you, and I'm trying to do that without standing up and leaning back. I want to stay hinged over, and then I'll feel a bigger load that goes through my hip and through my foot and calf, and I'm staying in this bent over position. Sometimes we'll have people reach with their arms like so, and that helps them stay bent over. Now another common pattern that we'll see is people start losing their balance, and they're doing that because they're kind of tight roping their setup to where when their back foot is elevated, their feet are in line. You want to keep your feet still hip width apart so you're much more stable, and that allows you to be able to put load into that front leg and create that rotational demand in the hip while performing the rowing motion with the upper extremity.